Well, this May Day, protesters here in France may feel that they're being watched, and indeed they are. Today, French police will, as you just heard there from Lisa, be using drones to, quote in their words, secure the protests. It is, though, a controversial strategy that's been criticised by a number of NGOs, and France 24's Shirli Sitbon has been looking into the issue. She's with me right now. Shirli, what kind of data are the police collecting with these drones that they're using?
Well, they're collecting basically the movement of the crowd. It's a large zone in many cities, and they want to find the areas where groups may integrate the crowd, start moving, maybe vandalizing. And the idea is to nip the situation in the bud, to avert clashes between police and these groups, maybe arrest some of these people faster than they would have done without those drones. So they're basing this basically on a law. We can see it now, a French law, which was passed in 2022, and the decree was just issued 10 days ago. And it sets limits, and also it authorizes the use of those drones, and it gives a number of circumstances where they can be used. And one of them is monitoring protests if there is a risk of insecurity, a risk for the safety of the people in the crowd. So they'll be filming the crowd, but there are many questions involved.
Indeed, and as you say, there are limits to what the police are allowed to do. What are they banned from collecting?
They're banned from using facial recognition. Yeah. They're banned from recording voices, sound. And one court in the north of France said that police has been going pretty far with what they're demanding because they wanted to monitor a whole section of the city, and it was too much for them. If you want to secure a protest, then the route of the protest is where you want to look and monitor, and not the whole section of the city. They also said that police wanted to monitor and record this area and film it for many hours until late at night. And the court said this is way too much. The monitoring should end when the protest ends. That's just one court. The other said there's no problem. There is even no sense of emergency in this. We'll examine this case later on, and they've said that police should go ahead and film this because the goal is to secure populations and protests.
Well, that said, clearly unions and NGOs are pretty concerned about all of this.
Yes, they're concerned for public, for privacy, and for the fact that people are, and that they're allowed to come and go as they wish. There are various, civil liberties at stake. They believe that this shouldn't be done. French authorities, and it happens also elsewhere, it was also in the UK, in the US, in many countries, we've seen cases of drones being used to monitor these protests. And this is actually was a report because in the past, the main government legal advisor, Conseil d'État, has banned this practice in the past a few years ago, and now it will re-examine the use of drones over protests on the 15th of May to see if this is legal. And what NGOs have been saying is that it should be clear what is being filmed and how it's kept in the system. Who can see this? How it can be used.
Really interesting. Thank you very much indeed, Shirli Sitbon, for telling us a little bit about the way that drones are used by the police here in France. And in relation